outside again. So not an awful lot to say here. SPY bouncing off close to the 8, bouncing up. Triple Qs still weak here. And the Russell 2000 bouncing back up toward the pivot point just above. Right now above the 8, above the 15, above the VWAP, above the 15. Just choppy action. What is the support for the Tesla put credit spread for Friday? For put credit spread for Tesla for Friday, I mean, if you're talking about doing a put credit spread on Tesla, you know, you have to look at the daily chart, and for support levels. So the first support level you get is about 377.37, and then you get another one down about 358. But you don't have any major moving averages to support Tesla for a put credit spread. If you're going to do a put credit spread on it, you're trying to you're assuming that this is very short term. You're assuming in this particular case, if you're going to get it, because you can't put a put credit spread on using the 50 and the 100 down here. You're not going to get any premium. So if you're trying to do it based on this, I guess the most aggressive way to do it would be use this something below 377 as a short put. I wouldn't touch it, but that's the way I would construct it if I was going to try to do that. What about the Qs? What's the next support level on the short for the Qs? Well, it's the 8, and the 8 on the Qs is 519.63. 519.63. So pretty far down from here. But you've also got yesterday's low for 521.22. That's going to be somewhat of a previous day's lows and highs are always somewhat of a support and resistance level. And that also would apply to Thursday's low. So you do have some support there around 522. But the 8 is the next major one. Okay, just kind of watching here. Again, yesterday was a kind of a tough day to trade. Today isn't shaping up to be much better. We don't really have much of a trend to deal with. We don't have any of a trend to deal with at all. IWM, which had been weak, came back nicely here right off the VWAP, but went right up toward the pivot point. Now it's starting to roll back down again. The trades have to be very quick this morning. Very in and out pretty quickly. Again, Tesla, I got a nice lift in Tesla this morning off of the trade I put on yesterday. got in as it broke resistance. It pulled back hard on me. I added to it after it had dropped about 25 points right off support, and it bounced up this morning up about $13. So I was able to get out with a decent profit on that Tesla trade yesterday. Right now I'm just watching the support and resistance level on it. Again, this is the support level and resistance levels right here, 401.52, and it's just above it. It's been above it and below it. This is the one I took yesterday when it went above it, and it came right back down here, and then bounced right back up again. So today it's trading pretty strong. It's up about $13, pretty close to that support and resistance level right there. Welcome to all the YouTube folks watching now. We've got YouTube up and going for the next hour or so. Again, this is my trading room right here. This is the SPY Super System, or the Compass software that runs on Thinkorswim. It tells us if institutions are in the trade or if they're not. This is the current time frame momentum right here, and the multi-time frame momentum. These are the two key indicators that I look for. This is on a 5-minute chart right here. And on the SPY Super System that we do, which is basically a trade off of the SPYs, the Qs of the IWM, for just very quick intraday trades off the 5-minute candlesticks. I just use this, the current time frame momentum. But for any of the other trades we take, I want the daily chart to be bullish, and I want the current time frame momentum and the multi-time frame momentum to be green or blue, which is bullish for longs. I want that both of those to be blue or green on the daily chart, and red or yellow if I'm going short on the daily chart. But for the SPY Super System, which is it's not scalping, but these are fairly quick trades off of those indexes. I just use the current time frame momentum right here. I use the VWAP as a support resistance level, and I use the 15 EMA as a support resistance level. Right now I don't really have any of those trades today. The market's been not really doing anything that we can really trade off of. And if you're on YouTube, if you have any questions about the room, I have a trading room right here. We basically trade options, and then I also have an alert service where we alert on the trades that the high probability trades that we take. We do not alert on the SPY Super System setups. They're much too quick. This is a scan we have running on TC2000. I'm sorry, on Thinkorswim. This is cascading up. These are stocks that have stacked 3 green candles in a row. These are stocks that have produced 3 red candles in a row. This basically tells us if the market's moving down, these will be relative stocks with relative strength. If it's moving up, these will be stocks with relative weakness. See, which had a nice little breakout this morning on Citigroup. See how it's pulled back here now. And these are the stocks that are fairly strong right now. But you have to look at the daily chart to see if they would be tradable. Delta Airlines, see the 2 airlines are up here. But again, really flat, really flat. All right, gonna go back to looking for some trades. See if we have any more questions in the room. Maggie? Can I check CVX? Yeah, sure. All right, let's just take an overview of CVX first. Again, Chevron. It's pretty choppy. You can see it's been pretty choppy. A lot of wicks and tails on the candlesticks. It's pulled back pretty close to the red line here, which is the 50 EMA, 50 SMA, and then the purple, which is the 200 SMA. Pulled right back to it, put in an inverted hammer here yesterday, which was it moved up nicely and then pulled back, and then today it's trying to move back up through. This is the red line here is the 8 exponential moving average. Orange line is a 15. These are the resistance levels it needs to get through. So this has got some resistance that's pent up right here that it needs to break through. It hit pretty heavy volume the last 2 days. Big pullback and then a bounce. So it looks like it's trying to bounce, but again, you have to be convinced, and you have to see some confirmation that it's going to break above there. Stephen, trading room. Is this not it? Yeah, this is a trading room. Yeah, what I'm talking about the trading room is I have YouTube running. That's just we run it for it's a short time, just to introduce the room. But the room itself is exactly where you're in, and that's the only place you can go. And you also should have, I think, access to the Discord. But yeah, this is the only room. This and the alert service, of course. And the room is what we look for the SPY super system trades. So yeah. When I said I have a trading room, that was directed at the folks that are just watching it on YouTube. Oh, sorry if I confused you. Did I answer your question on CVX, Maggie? Stephen, you confuse easily. Yeah, join the club. SPY trying to come down again. You've got the 8 exponential moving average on the daily on the SPY, really close. 604.17. Isaac, would I add more INOD here? Let's see. No, I wouldn't. I mean, listen, any type of an ad. If you look at, let's look at Tesla yesterday. Okay, Tesla. I added to yesterday Tesla when I bought it here, and I added when it came down to the support level, and then it confirmed a bounce off of it. In other words, I didn't buy it right at the support level. I bought it after it bounced off of it and started to head back up again. If I'm in INOD, I like this thing here, but we put this shooting star in yesterday, and today it's showing more weakness. So this becomes a little bit of a concern. So I'm not going to be interested in buying any more of this until it gets above this 8 exponential moving average. Now this is the bull flag right here. Here's where the flag begins. All right, so it's still got quite a bit of room to the downside, but that's an awful big drop. So and again, this stock can move a lot, so that's why I'm just going to give it some time. But I wouldn't be adding to anything to set up like this right now. You need confirmation that it's going to bounce and get back above this 8 and start moving back up again. Adding to a lot of traders add when the stock goes down because they think that they're getting in at a cheaper price, so they're getting it at a discount. But you're only getting it at a discount if the thing is actually still likely to work. Again, a very low probability trading environment, what we call an LPTE, low probability trading environment. Just not much to trade here. Quick trades is all you can get right now if you're trying to take like a SPY trade here off of this break. But notice the colors keep going back and forth, yellow and green, yellow and green. We're not getting any really definitive move. Q's looking pretty weak here. Notice red across the board, but just tiny little candles here.
Security hackers exploit AWS misconfiguration in a massive data breach. In the article, TWLO was mentioned. Stolen information ranged from AWS keys to credentials for popular platforms like GitHub, Twilio, and cryptocurrency exchanges.
Q's got a little bit of room to the downside, as I mentioned before. The 8 exponential moving average on the Q's. We do have some room down to that. It's down at 519.42, so it's got a little bit of room. SPY doesn't have an awful lot of room to the downside, unless it breaks through the 8. The 8's right at 604.12. 604.12. Q's breaking down a little bit here. IWM. Then a nice move up, and now it's trying to roll back down again. I think, for short, Q's are probably the best right now. What setting do I use for the VWAP, Teddy? I just use standard setting. I didn't adjust anything to it. That's just the VWAP. If you pick that indicator, that'll be what you get. The VWAP is not based on any kind of variations. It's just the volume weighted average price is and it starts. You only use it on the quick time frames, 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 1 minute. You don't use it on the daily. It's recalculated starting at the beginning each day. If you look here, you notice that the VWAP yesterday was here, and then we didn't get much of a move this morning, so it just moved up just a little bit. But it can jerk around because it's recalculated every day. Okay, so that's I just use a standard VWAP setting. NVIDIA moving down here. NVIDIA just broke through the algo line 2 to the downside. Q's again short, but coming back up again here now. Get a little bounce. It's still red, of course, on the current time frame momentum, but Joe, you had a 1/3 of a fly, made 280% on NVIDIA fly. All right, must have nailed the mid strike price nicely. Again, very difficult day for trading here. Market's not doing much of anybody any good. And Q's still drifting down here. SPY's drifting down towards, still trying to get to the 8 exponential moving average, about 30 cents to the downside to get there. IWM not doing much. Market's fairly bearish today. I mean, this is nothing dramatic, but fairly bearish, especially after yesterday's move was to the down. Today is also to the downside. Again, I haven't put on any additional long exposure for swing type trades right now, because I really don't. The market's looking to try to find support at some point, and we'll see what that's going to be. And again, this is last 2 weeks of the month, really, last part of December, really typically fairly slow, fairly difficult to trade. a lot of traders just kind of waiting. Q's still coming down a little bit. It was a decent trade here off of this 15 EMA on this move down. Very slow movement. These pretty small candles. SPY coming in. Again, it's got the 8 exponential moving average just below it here.
Some commentary out there by Goldman Sachs CEO. Says Trump admin likely to run a pro-growth agenda. Says markets will not be excited if Trump tariffs go into effect.
Not a lot to say here about the market. It's drifting down. But again, SPY still has not got down to the 8 yet. Q's also drifting, but these are really small candles. Again, this is a very low probability trading environment. Any stock that you take is got to basically carry itself. The market's not going to help anything right now. SPY drifting. Q's just drifting there, really tiny little candles. About 11:45 right now. Very slow market. And this is not unusual this time of year. Market is just not doing much of anything. Let's look at the daily chart so we know where we're at as far as the indexes are concerned. All right, so here's your SPY. There's the 8 exponential moving average right there that's sitting almost on. Again, that's what I'm identifying as current support. Triple Qs have this 8 down here. They've also got yesterday's low, which I believe they've gotten through, 521.22. Nope. 521.54. 521.22 is yesterday's low. That will be some support, and then the 8 will be some support. The IWM again is right at the 15 EMA. So this makes trading very difficult from a SPY super system set up, because the indexes are so close to support and resistance levels. The Q trade was okay here. I mean, this was okay as it went red back here. This was a good entry. This was a decent entry as well, right here as it broke below the 15. That worked out. Not a lot. Maybe 20 cents is what you would get out of a trade like that. And it's really hard to stay in it once you get a candle like this. Go like that. Green candle. You typically wait for it to close, but you know that kind of, you want to be, you've got just a little bit of profit in it. You don't want to give up too much on a green candle. That's why today is a really day where you're getting in and out of trades pretty quickly if you're taking these trades. Probably the best thing to do right now is not to be taking trades. Just as market is just not a good environment for trading right now. APP not doing much, sitting right in the 15. Coin and Bitcoin stocks are all weak today again. Coin's down. CMCSA, which is the triangle we put on yesterday. We got 395, 39.50 calls. It's trading at 39.76 now, so still needs to make a decent run here. It could run up to the 200, which is about $40.50 or so. And we'd be up money if it goes there today, because we'd have $1 of intrinsic value in there. So we could probably easily get out for $1.30 or $1.40, but we'll see what happens. Again, we got a lot of time on this, so I'm just going to watch the price action. Jay pointing out NVIDIA crossed back below the 50 SMA, below yesterday's high. Yeah, it's also, I draw algo lines on these stocks. These are algos that the institutions use for support and resistance levels. Some of their programs, they're programmed to look at these things. And you notice how this is where I started. It touched here, it touched here, it touched here. It's broken through it today. So right now it's below that algo line, below the 50. So this is set up as a short. Now you want to see that it stays below there today and below the 50 today. But definitely it seems short. And if you look at the other chip stocks, AMD is down pretty hard today. They get downgraded yesterday, and they're kind of taking a hit today again, down a decent amount. Another chip stock, ASML, is also down. SMCI, which is super micro, is also down here today. So chip stocks, most of them are fairly weak today. They haven't been strong for a while. They were the darling of the market for a while, and right now they're not doing much of anything. Q's bouncing back up again. Looking at Google. Google's been pretty strong today, but just choppy. Bounced up, gapped up here this morning, and it's pulled right back again. Apple also has gone red now. It was green, had a nice move yesterday. I just really can't trade this much. I did take some puts on the call on the Q's back here. Made a little bit of, I made like 15 cents on it. That's it. $15 a contract. These are really tough trading conditions right now. Yesterday was very difficult too. And it's very important to understand. Everybody's looking for trades. They want to make trades. Some days are just not. You shouldn't be taking trades. If you take anything, take very small risk on it. And some days it's just not good days for trading. Unless you're scalping or something, it's really not good days for trading. Yesterday was one. Today's one. This is not a good day for trading right now. Again, things could change this afternoon, but right now we don't have any particular trend to follow. And I haven't found any really outstanding stocks to trade. Netflix is set up pretty nicely on the daily chart right here. But again, I'm not entering anything today, but this is see how it's following the 8 right here, and it got through this resistance level. It's pulled back to the 8 again, and setting up with what's called a PBO, a pullback opportunity on Netflix. So I've got that on my list, but it's not something I'm going to trade right now. EDU had a big gap up yesterday and a big gap down today. See the Chinese stocks, which gapped up strong yesterday, is PDD. JD, big gap up, big move down. So if you look at the Chinese index, the FXI, see that huge gap up yesterday, big gap down today. This is really a good way to get trapped. Baba looked good yesterday, right back down below. Baidu looked good yesterday, right back down below the 100-day moving average. So big moves in the Chinese stocks yesterday because they're pumping in some more money into the indexes or into the market to try to give it a little bit of a boost, and this is what you get. So yesterday was fine for one day, but again, you have to be out now. That's why they're tough to trade those. They're okay for day trades and not very good for holding overnight. At least not now, not in this market. And Doug, as I said, not a good environment for day trading today would include swing trading. Well, with swing trading, basically swing trading, you're focusing on individual stocks. And they can be stocks that are good swing type prospects. But the problem is the market is so choppy that it's probably not a good day to take them because there's so much risk of them, at least even a good stock, just moving sideways to basically peel off some time decay out of your option premiums. So I mean, I don't see today as a good day to add any kind of swing trades, unless something is really a standout. Like I said, I'm watching Netflix. It looks nice, but I'm more concerned about the market right now. So yeah, I don't think it's a good day to be adding swing trades. Philip, you agree with my trading assessment? My thoughts on Oracle? It's funny. I just looked at Oracle just a little bit ago. Oracle took kind of a big hit here on earnings. I don't touch stocks on earnings like this. The only trade I would have made on earnings today, on Oracle today, would be a straddle or a strangle if I could get decent premiums. The problem is when earnings comes out, the premiums are all inflated on the options. So a lot of times it's hard to get any kind of a straddle or a strangle. I wouldn't touch it right now. I mean, if you're going to do a straddle or a strangle, what you want to do is you want to enter at the high of the day or the low of the day, so that you got a little bit of room for it to move. Theoretically, it could move can get in the middle, but I'd prefer to the high or the low. But I wouldn't touch it right now. How long is this going to last? We don't. To the upside, it's got the 50 right here. The downside, it's got the 100 right here. For me, this is in no man's land right now. I don't see any overriding reason to try to take a trade in it right now. That's just my opinion.
Possibility, that's a decision that is expected. That's on Microsoft MSFT.
Alexandra, you think Bitcoin is bottoming out? Any good support levels on MSTR, iBitcoin, etc. to potentially take a credit spread on? Well, you're assuming that it's bottoming out. The problem is these stocks aren't bottoming out right now. So this is my theory on. This is my thesis on credit spreads when you're doing a credit spread. All right. Or even if you're doing a debit spread, you need to have a stock that's neutral to bullish. Right now, Bitcoin is not. It's weak. Right? MSTR is weak. It's trying to bottom out, but look where it is. I'm right here with all this resistance. Look at coin. I did a debit spread in coin the other day, off of this candle right here. And look where it is right now. I don't see that it's. I don't see that it's really. It's got to prove to me that it's bottomed out, and I know you're making the assumption that it's bottomed out, so you want to do a credit spread on it. The problem is you're doing a trade based on an assumption of something that you believe is going to happen, and I much prefer to take trades on things that I see are actually happening. That's my opinion on them. So I wouldn't be touching them yet until I get some confirmation of it. And support levels on MSTR and coin, they've still got a ways to go below where they are right now. Coin's trading at 306. It doesn't have a support till about 286. MSTR trading at 368. It doesn't really have support till down to 287. So there's some fairly big drops here for support and resistance levels on them. MSTR's got a few other ones in there. It's got one around 338, but that's a long way down. Use a little bounce here, you see, going blue, coming up to the 15 EMA right here. Support resistance level, but look where the pivot point in the VWAP are right there. So you get strong resistance right there.
To the Wyse report, the World Agricultural Supply and Demand Estimates.
Alexandra, maybe it's better to look at Bitcoin directly, or one of the ETFs like iBit. Yeah, I mean that's possible. They may trade better. They're more pure, and if you look at iBit right here, which this is a Bitcoin ETF, but this is on Bitcoin. See, it's pulled back right here, but it's bouncing off the 15. But it's very important that you get confirmation, which means you've got to know that this 15 is going to hold, and it's going to be tough to do any credit spreads on this because this has been so bullish. So you're pretty far away from any significant support levels. This would be the first major support level, which is about 44.50. So you're going to be writing puts down around $44. The premium is going to be pretty crummy that far away. I think they know the hardest thing on a day like today for trading is to restrain yourself from making trades. Very, very difficult to not to get bored and try to take something, and that's really not a good thing to do. When the market's like this, you sometimes just need to sit on your hands and not make trades. Just look for trades that for setups that you can use here to later today or tomorrow or the next day on individual stocks and see what they look like. I mean, I've got a few on my watch list that I'm watching here. I mentioned Netflix. I like Netflix. I'm going to be watching Tesla for sure, as it trades just above the support level. Also watching Deckers, which is a pretty nice pullback opportunity. This CALM is pretty nice too, CALM. Pretty nice setup on CALM. Kind of the pullback opportunity was kind of yesterday, but a decent move here in CALM. John Deere, nice move in John Deere, but it's coming back. Again, this is a PBO. This is a pullback opportunity coming right down to the 15. So do you buy it here? I don't. I wait for it to get above this 8 exponential moving average right here. And, the volume's not that great today, but this is a PBO pullback opportunity on Deere. I don't know what Caterpillar looks like. Yeah, much worse. There's Alaska Air again. We talked about that this morning. Again, big gap up and pretty choppy on the 5-minute chart. Just moved up and just compressed right here. This is Oracle, and we're talking about Oracle. This is a gap down, but it's not doing anything. So to do like a strangle on this is really hard because you want some price movement. You're not getting any price movement at all on the 5-minute chart. Would calls what's confirmed off the 15 be a better, Alexandro? On the like IBIT. Listen, when you're doing trying to decide on doing puts and calls by themselves or doing spreads, you have to look at where the resistance level is on IBIT and how much risk you want to put into it. The debit spreads are nice because you're reducing your risk, and you can set your short call, for example, at a resistance level, and that gives you a better likelihood that you're going to get about the max profit out of it that you could. Whereas if the resistance level is way up above, or there isn't any resistance level, then taking straight calls and straight puts is a better trade if it follows through. So it just depends on what you want to do for risk. I do debit spreads a lot of times when the option prices are very high or very widespread. Why did we not cut a loss on the coin CDS? I mentioned yesterday that the Bitcoin is a very news sensitive stock. All right, and we've got a debit spread on this. I did this with a debit spread on purpose so the risk was lower. Now you could bail on this thing, and take your losses because it's Tuesday, but we've got till Friday on this. Is there any likelihood that Bitcoin's all of a sudden gonna rocket up? It could easily. I mean, this stock, even coin, if we look at coin, it has an ATR, an average true range of about almost $30, So to me, I'm gonna give this thing plenty of time because I could get a $30 pop on this thing tomorrow, or it could continue to drop. Technically, it's broken support today. Yesterday it's sitting right on the 15. Today it's went below the 15. But if it stays above the 15 and above the 8, at the end of the day, I'm going to stay in the trade. But again, everybody has to make their own decisions on these kind of trades. I'm telling you what I'm doing, all right. And when I put it on, I put it on with the expectation that it could go to zero for me, all right. But I'm willing to wait because of the fact that this has an ATR of $30, all right. So, and Bitcoin is really, I mean, you look at these candlesticks. This candlestick right here on Bitcoin has a low of 282 and a high of 332. Right, it's 50 points on there. So if you're asking me why I'm still in it, that's why I'm still in it, because it hasn't closed below the 15 yet, and this thing is very volatile. And the reason I put it in a debit spread is because this thing can move so much, and I was willing to put it on instead of calls. I put it on with a debit spread just for that particular reason. But again, everybody has to make their own decisions. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. You have to make your own decisions on these trades, because that's not going to be worth very much right now on that debit spread on coin. I got a sell order in there at just so I'd have something up. I got a sell order at 4. It's at 52 cents. So, am I willing to risk 40? It's 46 cents. So, am I willing to risk 46 cents? $46 a contract. Do I want to just salvage $50 out of this $3.95 that I paid? I'm with 3.5 days to go. I'm gonna give it time. But that's my method of trading these kind of stocks. I'm making an analysis based on what this stock could do between now and Friday, and I'm taking off for a big loss, but I'm not going to take. I just don't see recovering $40 out of a $3.95 when I've got a stock that can move $30 in a day. All right, that's my why I'm doing what I'm doing. How far out in time would I take the Netflix call? You're thinking maybe December 27th? No, if you got to take any calls right now, go further out than that, because this time of year, the market can be really flat. I mean, you can do nothing. We've had 2 terrible days. So if you're going with Netflix and you're going to December 27th, you're only giving yourself 2.5 weeks. I would go to middle of January on Netflix, to tell you the truth. They have earnings on 1/28, January 28th. So I'd be out to at least January 17th on something like that. I want to give myself some time that this thing is gonna not continue sideways for a couple of weeks. Yeah, they're very expensive, of course, if you're going out in time. But don't buy options. Don't buy a closer in expiration than what you should, just because it's cheaper to do that. Because if you're going out in time, yeah, you're putting more money into the call, but you're also getting a lot less time decay on it when the stock's moving sideways. So that's what I would do. Do I think 9.15 is good or 9.20 on Netflix? I don't know. Let me look at the. Let me take a look at the deltas on them. Yeah, the 9.15s only have a delta. See, these things are very expensive that far out in time, of course. This is a $900 stock. So, personally, I'm likely going to wait on Netflix and not try to buy straight calls on this thing right now because they're very expensive. So I might wait for what looks like it's going to be a bullish setup and take a debit spread on it on a Monday or something, or I might just wait till after Christmas to see what this thing does because you're putting a lot of money into these things. All right, the 915s for even December 27th are about $2,400, almost $2,500 a contract, and they only have a delta of about 55. So that's too low. Again, you're dealing with a $900 stock, so it's gonna cost, So that may be outside of the risk that you want to take. Debit spread would look like on something like let's say we were taking one this week. I'm not, all right. But if I was taking one right now, it's trading 921. I'd take a 920, 925, or a 920, 930, and see what I could get it for. And I'd want to get it for well less than 50% of the spread. But I'm not taking a debit spread because this market is garbage right now. So you'd have to depend on Netflix to carry itself. And this is a Netflix 5-minute chart right now. All right, so this is garbage. Daily chart looks pretty nice, but I'm not taking a debit spread till I get. I feel like I've got some chance of it moving up. When I did coin, this is what coin looked like. It was right here, all right, breaking above here. Now theoretically, I could have taken it off yesterday on this big candle to the downside, but I'm not going to get any premium out of this thing. The big candle like that in coin will wipes out 80% of your debit spread. So I'm willing to risk the last 10 or 15% to see if it get a bounce this week. No, I wouldn't do a debit spread out to January 17th. Listen, that's something you could do. Alexandra, that is one way to reduce the risk on something like that. So normally I don't do debit spreads like that, but if the amount of money you're putting into the trade, if you want to do a debit spread out there, then that's fine. But just remember that on a debit spread that's that far out, your short calls are going to decay very slowly. So it's going to take a decent amount of time before you're going to get a decent profit out of that. You could get a profit if it moves up right away, but it usually takes quite a bit of time for debit spreads that far out in time to generate money. But you can do it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I wouldn't do it now. I'd wait till we get some better market confirmation that we're going to continue to be bullish. There's the SPY pulling back down again, but again still has not got down to the 8 yet. Q's coming down, but we got blue here. This is just a tangled mess. This whole market right now. See the SPY coming down, but it's blue, so. The IWM is blue and moving up off the 15, but it hasn't gone anywhere. We had this one nice run in it here, and then this is just chop. And again, you got a pivot point right there. Very, very low probability trading environment. This is really tough. I hate to keep saying this today, but I'm trying to keep people patient and keep people out of making just trades to make trades. Again, over trading is a big problem for most retail traders, and it's really a big problem when you try to make trades on a day like today. Daggett, you don't mind me saying the same thing over and over again. Listen, I understand. Some people I know may get sick of it, but I'm trying to emphasize when we have a day that's garbage, to try to stay away from trading as much as you can. You know, putting on a bunch of miscellaneous trades. The Discord folks, I tell you, they ought to be paid for for being stand-up comics. Today said today's spy is brought to you by the letter P: patience, passivity, passiveness, pertinacity, placidity, and my favorite, phlegm. Oh, everybody's a comedian. Well, not everybody. Some people think they're comedians. I'm going to take lunch here in about another 10 minutes or so. We'll stop the YouTube feed here when I take lunch. Not too much I can talk about. Which Discord channel is that, AJ? That's the one we have. It's the Discord channel that comes with the room. If you don't have it, Rory can get you the link to it. Thrilling candles here on the IWM. Spy can't quite get down to the VWAP. I mean to the 8. Just trying on the daily, but not making it. Triple Qs, trying to bounce here. Again, this is just chop, all chop. Oh, you didn't see what he just mentioned. That's because he sent it as a message to me. He didn't put it in the Discord room. They try not to insult everybody, just me. I've been trading with the guys in the Discord room for a good long time. They really do a really good job over there. I mean, really good job of go over there and just look at what they're posting as far as charts and information on the sectors and information on economic news that's coming out. It's really, really good information. And they have some really nice high probability trades that they point out. And Jonathan, when I'm not streaming on YouTube, which is I'm not most of the time, I'm not. Is my room streamed through another service? Yeah, I mean I have you can join my room. My room is through Right Line Trading, and it's my options room that I'm in there all day long, market open to market close. There's a Discord channel that comes with that, but the room itself, where you hear me talking and you see my charts and all that stuff, this is the room that I run. And I run it again, market open to market close, 5 days a week, and yeah, you can join it. I mean, you can join it for, I think 3 months or a year, or forever. You have options, and if you're interested, just give Right Line a call. They're at right here, 786-732-4656. Just call them. You can ask them any questions you want about what the options are. Again, I have an alert service where I also send out high probability trades to folks that are on an alert but who aren't necessarily in the room, so that they can get alerts on their phone. But again, you can call Rory at 786-732-4656, and he'll give you all the details of what your options are as far as any of the services that we provide. Q's making a little bounce. IWM not doing much of anything. This market is making me hungry. For anybody who used to watch Seinfeld, it was these pretzels are making me thirsty was a line they used for when Kramer was in a movie scene. Brian, do we think this tight market is due to anticipations of the CPI numbers released tomorrow? You know, there may be some of that. I mean, CPI is a big number. That could have some impact on the market in this. But there's a lot of waiting right now just because of where we are in the year. It's 2 weeks to Christmas, and you know, a lot of people, traders, don't have their mind on trading. This is what happens in August when everybody goes on vacation. You get these basically these crappy trading days to try to trade, and it's really, this is when patience is really important, not to put a whole bunch of trades on. You know, I put a debit spread on, which didn't cost me a lot. On APP, I didn't even alert on that. In coin, which is way underwater on, and I did this CMCSA strangle in case that works again. That's another inexpensive type trade that's basically non-directional. I don't care which way it goes, and we don't have, other than that, we don't have much on, and I'm not planning on putting a lot on until we get some market direction. Most of the recent trades were long. Why not some shorts? What if the market goes down? Is it healthy to be all long? No, I'm never. And listen, I have take plenty of shorts during the year. Right now we're in a bull market, and I took some shorts. Let me see what shorts I took. We took some shorts. I'm trying to remember. We had a nice straddle on Hood. Palantir was long. Fortinet was long. That was calls on that one. We had these Sedge puts, but we lost money on those. But I do quite a few puts during the year. A lot of it depends on the market. You know, the market's the most important thing. You know, if I'm looking at the SPY daily chart, and I look at this, and the market's moving up like this, I'm not going to have very many shorts on. I mean, if you take a short, you understand that when you take a short, and there are some decent shorts. I mean, I've taken a lot of shorts during the year, but if you take a short, it has to be going counter to the market, and it has to be a good short setup. Now there are some good ones. Don't get me wrong. There are some good short setups. Let me see if I can find any right now. Let me look at the daily chart, because I keep a watch list of longs and shorts all the time. This INSW I had down as a short, but notice it didn't work today. Carver was a nice short. That was a decent short that would have worked. Aflac I had down as a short yesterday, gapped down this morning and bounced up again a little bit. VTR was also a short, but see it's bounced back up again. What happens is a lot of these, when the market's strong, a lot of the shorts won't follow through. SNPS has been a good one. See this nice pull down SNPS. And again, I had that on my list. But I don't want to trade against the market too much. Right now the market's choppy, so shorts probably aren't that bad if you can find some really high probability ones. But you know, when the market's been as bullish as it is right now, a lot of stocks that you'd want to short are still above their support levels. And you know, you have to find ones that stand out, like that SNPS I just looked at. And you know, the number of trades we've got on right now is way less. A lot of times the way to hedge yourself when the market is kind of choppy and you, instead of putting on like some VIX calls or something like that to protect yourself from any kind of a market pull down, the best thing to do is just cut down on the size of your trades or the number of your trades, and just go to a lot of cash, so you don't have a lot of money in the market at the time.
WBA on that volume popping a circuit breaker halt, set to be in talks to sell itself to PE firm Sycamore. That's on WBA, Walgreens.
Walgreens with a pop here off the news feed. In talks to sell themselves to Sycamore. IWM with a little pop here too. SPY moved right up to the VWAP. So Mendel, I hope you understood my explanation as to why I'm mostly in longs right now. Because with the trades that we take now, and I do like I said, I do take a lot of short trades, but the high probability trades that I try to post and I try to send out in the alert service, those are high probability trades, and the very highest probability trades are the trades that are going with the market. If you're in a bullish market, when you're in a choppy market, then you can go both ways. And right now, the market is really pretty choppy. So taking some shorts right now is not bad, except the market's not really a short, so depending on the stock to carry the load. So you need something that's really a good short setup. And I did like that SNPS. I haven't looked at the options on it, but I do like this SNPS for the last 2 days. It's just a little extended for me at this point. SPY through the VWAP. Shai just points out. Yep, it is, with a pivot point right there. Some IWM calls would have made out pretty good right here, coming up off the 15 here or here, and then moving up toward this pivot point. This nice little candle was a nice pop. It'd be probably one you'd want to take your profits on today on a day like this. Again, the SPY, you got to watch to make sure it stays closes above this VWAP. Again, one green candle does not a trend make. Shai pointing out we need follow through, but Apple's a good long day trade right here. I mean, Apple's been pretty nice here the last few days. This is the Apple daily chart right here. Nice move up. Again, these blue candles that I have on here, these are actually green candles that at the time they turn they're printed here. The Bollinger Bands are expanding. The Apple Bollinger Band is moving up. Bottom Bollinger Band is moving down. That constitutes compression break. So these are pretty strong candles when they're blue. Now we got green right now. So with the bands are pretty much just compressing right here. But this is a pretty nice setup, and that's a doji sandwich setup right there on the Apple. There's a SPY on the daily, right back down to the 8. Just almost bounced right off of it. Got a low today of 604.18. The 8 is 604.24. We were within 6 cents of the 8 exponential moving average when the SPY bounced. Right there. And the 8 exponential moving average to me is a really, really good support resistance level to use on the daily and even on the 5-minute. I use the VWAP and the 15, but the 8's okay as well. And again, the SPY you see is trying to pull back down through the VWAP again here. Again, I had some IWM calls I'm out of back here. I took some when this set up, but again, it was above the 15, moving up toward the 8. Resistance was really close. It wasn't something I want to share because it was very, very tight, and you know, I think I made 15 cents on it, and that's it. Nothing really good here for trading at the moment. All right, a little after 12:30. I'm going to get some lunch. Let me go ahead and finish to close off the YouTube. Listen, I appreciate the folks on YouTube watching the feed today on my trading room, my options trading room. Slow day in the market, very, very choppy. Good day to sit on your wallet and don't try to take too many risks. And again, that's a lot of traders don't like to hear that, but knowing when not to trade is probably more important than knowing when to trade. All right, everybody on YouTube, thanks very much. We'll be back again tomorrow, about 11:15.